3 years she grew. This is the poem we would be discussing today. It is written by William Wordsworth, and most of the people think that this poem or many such poems which are written for some Lucy are in reality written for Catherine, who was the daughter of William Wordsworth, and she passed away at a very tender age of 3. And since this poem also begins like this, 3 years she grew in sun and shower, so many people think that it has been written for his own daughter. However, many such poems they carry the name of Lucy. Lucy is the central character. A 3-year-old girl is the central character of these Lucy series poems, and people think that this series was in a way dedicated to his own daughter because he was very sensitive about it and he could not talk directly or take the name of his own daughter directly. So he adopted a fictional name Lucy and he dedicated all these poems in the memory of his own daughter. 3 years she grew in sun and shower. Now, this daughter of William Wordsworth, or this character Lucy, is growing in sun and shower. Then nature said, a lovelier flower on earth was never sown. Now, as a child, we could imagine that child playing in sun or child playing in rains. Then nature said, she was so much dear to nature that nature has been personified here, and nature is speaking. Nature as a character is speaking. This is within inverted commas. A lovelier flower on earth was never sown. This child I to myself will take. Nature is saying that she is the most beautiful flower which has been given to her, and nature would bring up this baby as her own child. She shall be mine, and I will make a lady of my own. And nature would be bringing up this child, and nature would be devoting every care of hers in order to make this child a beautiful lady. Myself will to my darling be both law and impulse. Now, nature would teach this beautiful, darling, loveliest child both law and impulse. Law and impulse. Now, these are two opposite qualities. Law teaches you restraint, and impulse, when you just behave on your own without even thinking anything. And with me, the girl in rock and plain. Now, in a way, Wordsworth also advocated these two ideas of law and impulse. He wanted human being to follow law, but at the same time, he wanted that they should not leave their inner thoughts, or they should not forsake their inner thoughts. So impulse should be there, the sensitiveness should be there, emotionality should be there, but there should be a law as well. There should be a respect for the law as well. And when you talk of nature, nature as a mother or nature as a guiding spirit, nature has its own laws. We talk of nature's laws. And at the same point of time, when we appreciate nature for its laws, we know we are fearful of nature because nature is impulsive. Because nature, when teaches someone, nature is very impulsive. And nature is when punishing human beings, nature is very impulsive. So both these aspects of restraint and impulse are there in nature. So nature would teach this child both law and impulse. And with me, the girl in rock and plain, in earth and heaven, in glade and bar. Rock and plain, these are opposites. Rock and plain, earth and heaven, in glade and bar. Glade is some open space which is without woods, and bar is a shady place with a lot of trees. Shall feel an overseeing power to kindle or restrain. Now, there would be a power. Overseeing power means there would be someone who would be monitoring this child, and this overseeing power would be nature itself, to kindle or restrain. Now, nature would see whether to charge this child with activity, or whether to make this child apprehensive, or whether to make this child law abiding. Restraint, law abiding. She shall be sportive as the fawn that wild with glee across the lawn. Now, since this is a small child, a baby child, and she has to be sportive, she has to be playful as the fawn deer, who is running everywhere, that wild with glee across the lawn, and deer is very happy running across the lawn. Or up the mountain springs, and her shall be the breathing balm. And we can see that when there is a spring, mountains look so beautiful. And maybe as a deer, or maybe as a small child, this child would climb up the mountains and would enjoy springs. And her shall be the breathing balm. Breathing balm is soothing effect of nature. Nature gives you a soothing effect, and hers the silence and the calm. These are the blessings which nature is showering upon the girl. Breathing balm, and hers the silence and the calm. Silence and the calm, everything nature is giving her all blessings to this charm, this girl, who would be very calm, who could be silent with peace, or who could be enjoying nature, or mute insensate things. And this girl would be feeling those things which others do not feel, because they cannot speak. Mute insensate things, mute insensate things, part of nature, maybe trees, maybe animals, that the floating clouds their state shall lend to her. For her the willow bend, nor shall she fail to see, even in the motions of the storm, grace that shall mold the maiden's form by silent sympathy. The floating clouds, she would be observing the floating clouds. Their state shall lend. Every aspect of nature has something to teach her. Those floating clouds in the sky would teach her. Through the floating clouds, their state shall lend to her. For her the willow bend. Now those clouds in the sky and those bending willow tree, nor shall she fail to see. She would see that nature is, at one point of time, nature is full of humility. And on the other aspects, nature is so big, so bright, above everyone, even in the motions of the storm. And sometimes there are so many storms, even in the motions, activities of the storm, grace that shall mold the maiden's form by silent sympathy. Now when the storms are hovering, even at that point of time, she would learn to be graceful. And since she is a woman, she is a lady, she should be full of sympathy. So all these things, bending of willow, or the clouds in the sky, or the storms blowing, all these things would teach this girl to be someone who has a perfect personality, who knows kindness, who knows grace, who knows mercy, who knows sympathy, who knows that how kind a woman could be. So in the very first stanza, we know somewhere Wordsworth wants this lady, this small girl, be taken up by nature, and be made a lady by nature. So nature is trying to make this small child, convert this small child into a perfect lady. And the various aspects of nature are teaching this small child many attributes which there should be in every human being, and which are especially the attributes of a very gentle woman. The stars of midnight shall be dear to her, and she shall lean her ear in many a secret place. Now as we say that this child is growing as a part of nature. This child is not only being is brought up by nature. Somewhere we feel that she is also a part of nature. Her innocence is part of nature. So nowhere we would find that she is not sensitive enough to pay attention to nature. The stars of midnight shall be dear to her. Now every aspect of nature, the stars in midnight shall be dear to her, and she shall lean her ear, she shall give her ear in many a secret place. Many a secret place, hidden places which are not observed by common people, where rivulets dance their wayward round, and beauty born of murmuring sound shall pass into her face. Now she would be part of those small streams, those small rivers, and she would see those dancing rivers, they are, how they are moving, or how they are moving in a zigzag way, and beauty born of murmuring sound, and the water within them creates such a beautiful sound, shall pass into her face. And she would, those aspects of beauty would be transferred to her own face, and she could absorb that beauty into her own personality, and she could be one with them. She could be as beautiful as nature is, and vital feelings of delight shall rear her from form to stately height. And she would be, those beautiful sides of nature would make her all the more dignified. Stately height, she would be very dignified, she would be very dignified in her personality. Her virgin bosom swell, such thoughts to Lucy I will give. And she would be adopted by nature, and she would be full of innocent thoughts. She would be full of very graceful thoughts, and I want Lucy to be like this. While she and I together live here in this happy dell. And somewhere he is imagining that his daughter is still living with him in this happy dell, and they are happy together. Thus nature spake, the work was done. Now these are the final lines, and thus nature spake. The work was done. It is sort of, a decision. How soon my Lucy's race was run. Lucy's race means Lucy's race in this world was over, because she met a death. She died and left to me this heath, this calm and quiet scene, the memory of what has been and never more will be. And now he has been left all alone without Lucy, without his daughter Catherine, and only her memories are there. But somewhere we learn, or somewhere we can feel that the presence of his daughter, or the presence of Lucy, who is the central character of this poem, is everywhere, and the poet is not able to forget the daughter, just as he is not able to forget nature in all its aspect. In the same way, he is not able to forget his own daughter, because his own daughter is part of nature, and he cannot separate these entities, her daughter's entity and the entity of nature. So somewhere, whenever he wants to feel happy, or somewhere when he wants to feel peaceful, or somewhere he wants a soothing balm for himself, he could see both nature and his daughter together. Thank you.